Wow, there's actually people on. So I'm so grateful. I am going live today because I was invited somewhat last minute to, okay, great. Hi, Naisha, to a girls' getaway kind of wellness retreat. I'm a guest, I'm a plus one. One of my friends has a friend who just bought a house on a lake in Bend, Oregon. I just got the pictures. Hi, Brittany. Um, and Stephanie, good to see you guys. I just got the pictures of the house and it's so beautiful. And the pictures are kind of snow covered. It looks really beautiful. Um, and it's going to be a wellness retreat. And we're going to be hiking and journaling and meditating. I don't even know, whatever it is. It's 3 days away from technology, away from my kids. Obviously, I love my kids more than anything, but sometimes you gotta get a little time away. Um, Thank you so much. Enjoy the break. Thank you. So I am not live tomorrow, but I wanted to just kind of do an impromptu today so we can hit on this topic. And yeah, we had a really nice discussion going on in our Facebook group. I'll touch on some of those comments, but we often work with marketing teams internally with our clients. And um, usually it's the bigger clients, larger companies, and it's usually a good thing to have an internal marketing team because, first of all, it means that the company, the client is investing in marketing across the board, and you will have the support you need from them internally to get you the assets. Maybe they have really good positioning, um, brand positioning in the marketplace, industry, like know how to be able to explain how this client is different than their competitors. And they're really investing in an overall promotional strategy. So the approach, sometimes it could feel like you're a little at odds. Sometimes they have an internal PR team as well. And we've usually found that the internal PR team is big picture thinking, strategy, and facilitating sample sends and tracking, and then managing the PR firm. But the PR firm is the one doing all the outreach, working down a strategy that they are then reaching out to the media with. So, and my point being, sometimes the PR team internally is also the marketing department. Like they'll be marketing and PR, or it'll be a marketing department and there will be one person. And as their PR role, it is to collaborate with and work with the PR agency on the outside. So sometimes there can be friction, and that doesn't help anybody. Um, our goal is always to make the internal team, whomever our contact is, feel feel like we are besties. Like I want them to be like they're our besties, and we love working with them, and they see us as an extension of their team, and we have really great collaborative support, but also a nice relationship. So that, it's like sometimes we'll have inside jokes, and like we'll get on calls and we try to break the mood a little bit with like jokes. Like yesterday we had a call with a client and like their internal marketing team, and we were talking about a celebrity collaboration, and we were talking about Tamara Mowry. If you guys remember Tia and Tamara from Sister Sister. So the client was talking about Tamara, and then somebody on my team um, said something about like, well, what about her, her sister Tia? And I'm like, oh, you mean her sister? And so dumb. It was stupid, but the client kind of giggled, and it's like, you have to keep those moments light. It's our job to kind of make them feel comfortable and feel like we are all working together in our various roles towards a common goal. And they could either love working with us and we make it effortless and easy, um, Or sometimes they just see you as a nuisance and an annoyance, and maybe they don't understand why you're needed, or they're working in like a silo and they don't know why you need to be involved at all. And that's really, it's really a challenge, right? So, what we want to do is align our efforts so that there's like a collaborative approach, and we're communicating, and we're all on the same team, we're all working for the same goals. So I have a couple ways, three quick ways to think about working successfully with a company's marketing team, and then kind of breaking down who's responsible for what, or how to structure that relationship in a way where everybody's getting what they need and everybody's doing what they're supposed to, and it's very clear, so that everybody knows, this is my role, that's your role, and we're all here to help each other. Okay. Sound good? Thumbs up, hearts. Nelson said, "Hi, Jen, long time no see. Haha." Literally 10 minutes ago, I guess now 20 minutes ago, we got off our monthly pitch lab coaching call. They're always so, so good. And just the community is so supportive. And this was a really good call, I feel like it was. And, certain members sharing challenges and kind of not seeing their overall value and how their collective experience can really benefit a certain type of client that they've never really considered, because they're so like they have blinders on and they don't see all of the value that they've created by their experience. And it takes an outside perspective to be like, didn't you do that? And weren't you this? And didn't you get this? And what about adding all of that together so that you can provide this service to this type of client who, oh, by the way, happens to have a nice juicy budget for you? She was like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. So super cool to help people kind of see their blind spots and work through them so that we have like breakthroughs or moments of clarity. It's freaking awesome. So get into that. Okay, something going on the side. Today is one of those like million directions type of days, but that's what's fun, right? Okay, so number one, when you start working with a client that has an internal marketing team, proactively reach out to host a kickoff call. Don't wait for them. Make it very friendly, but reach out to invite them to a kickoff call. And it's important because you really need to understand their overall short-term and long-term goals, and any promotional efforts that they're planning, like any launches on the horizon and when, any kind of sales or collaborations, and how they are hoping to promote them. So, what are they working on that you can take and amplify with PR, or leverage their assets with PR, or to support your PR efforts? Do you have a long enough runway? Is this reasonable? Do they expect you to launch a product that's going to be out in a month and a half and you just came on board? You have to tell them, what is reasonable and what to expect and when. So that's part of it. It's getting on this call, getting aligned with the initiatives they have, short and long-term goals, what are their promotional efforts, and really how they also see you supporting their efforts. Or you can share with them what's realistic and reasonable within a time frame. Sometimes we've gotten on and we know we're brought in for a launch, and we'll get on with the marketing team and we'll kind of work backwards with the timeline, and we'll say, you know what, there's not enough time. And we would love for you to push off the launch for 2 weeks, because that will get us the runway necessary to convert the pitches, to give a date where all of the media will be talking about this launch at the same time, at the right time when you are ready to launch. Because if you get press and it comes out 2 weeks after the launch happens, it'll kind of fall flat on its face and feel like a dud. Like, we want momentum and we want interest. So let's pause. And we've convinced clients to hold off on launches so that we can align our efforts and make sure that the timeline matches up. So that's a kickoff call with the marketing team. Be proactive about it. You can create an agenda, you can come at them with questions that will show them that you're looking to enhance their efforts and support what they're doing. Number two, and this is kind of where this topic started, was a question about a shared calendar. So Jane said that she got a request from the client's new marketing team to share a shared calendar for PR and a joint marketing plan. And she's kind of like, how do you do this? Do you do this? And the comments were all pretty much aligned that you have a runway like 3 to 6 months, even a year. And inside the pitch lab, we actually do provide a template that is a spreadsheet for the year, and it's like a layered approach. So it's like you'll see that there's the holidays and things, and we kind of back into short and long lead. So it's in the calendar at the time you need to be thinking about it for those holidays that are just always there, like holiday gift guides, long leads. Start thinking about it in July, August. Short lead holiday gift guides, October, November, December. And we'll tell that in the calendar. So there's those foundational things. Plus, we layer in like the timely, relevant seasonal approaches that we're going to take. And we layer in their launches and who we're pitching and when. And it's this spreadsheet we have as a calendar that can serve as your team's internal marketing calendar. You copy it, you just make a copy in Google. Now it's a shared Google Calendar. Everyone can have edit access, and you're layering in all of the initiatives and then backing into the timing where the marketing team isn't working on your timeline. They're not working on the media's timeline. They're working on the client's launch timeline. And when customers are, that when they're available to purchase. So you need to kind of back into it and start to look at the timing and make sure that you have the support and the assets you need when you're going to need them. So this comment thread, and I'll put a link right here if you guys want to see this discussion, because there's some really, really great points about shared calendars that everybody can have input on, and it's a way to collect all of the efforts and initiatives that both sides are doing so that everybody has visibility to what is happening and when. So create a shared calendar, and it'll let you see what's going on with their social, with their email marketing. And the core of the strategy starts with that marketing team's plan. And then you plan your PR efforts around that. Oh my God. We're like trying to figure out if we can staff up for some huge opportunities we have right now. This is a good problem to have. Oh, okay. Ugh, okay. Clients starting and overlapping, like new client opportunities overlapping, and having the team not so much available until a later date because we have already a lot of work in that niche. So good problem to have. I have a very big sales call coming up that, in 45 minutes. So the team is like, if we get the work, what are we going to do? How do we stop it? Ooh. So kind of at the point where we have more work than we can handle. But I will say, just in all candor, you guys know I always bring you just real talk when it comes to my business. We've been finally picking up since the beginning of the pandemic. Lost a ton of business. Like, you would cry your eyes out if you heard the dollar amount of revenue we lost in April of 2020. Insane, like absolutely insane. But it's starting to come back around. We really struggled with proposals taking forever and lots of back and forth, and then lots of like additional needs and calls and interviews and blah, blah, blah. Never was like that. And then they would ultimately be like, we're going in a different direction. It was super annoying. That was happening for a while. And then March of last year, we got a great, fantastic new client. And then we didn't get any new clients until December. And we now have 3 new clients, really good brands. And then a call coming up with a parent company with 4 known brands in one of my niches, and then another company in that baby and kids space from New Zealand that has already launched here their products exclusively in Target, and they're looking for some support. And we're just like, can we handle it all? Mostly because it's all starting at the same time and it's all the same niche, but the texts are flying in fast and furiously, if you must know. Okay. Anyway, back to it. So, we want to know what the marketing team is working on and when, and adapt it for like a normal PR timeline. And if you don't have what you need in that time frame where you're going to need it, you can talk to the team and find out when you're going to have access to their resources that are going to make your effort successful, and then maybe change the launch date or maybe change their promotion of it so that it's all synced up, so that their promotional efforts are aligning with when the media is talking about it. And you kind of back into the timing, and you're like, even in the best case scenario, media would come out 2 weeks after or a month after your launch actually happens, just based on where we are now and what we have access to. So maybe we push it and now everything is synced up. You have that insight to share with your clients and kind of push back a little bit if you want to show them the collective benefit of having everything launch at the same time. The other thing that is really helpful is having a shared calendar so that if a date changes, it will be consistently updated and you won't miss out on any kind of big shifts in the schedule. Like maybe somebody will notify you and say, I went in the master calendar and we moved back our launch 3 weeks. So you can update your efforts around that change. But it's all working off the same shared calendar, and there's just really good visibility for everyone to see what everyone else is doing. And you need to have this runway for you to be successful. You need the assets on time. So you're going to need access to product samples, graphics, copy, and details about their promotions or their new product launches. You want to have their launch plans, any key dates. All of this has to be workable for your success to have this proper runway, and don't be afraid to push back and say, what, given this timeline, we don't have enough runway, or we don't have the assets to be successful in this time frame. So that's one way to get aligned. You get your kickoff call, you talk about the initiatives, send over a calendar. Maybe you're making notes on the call and you have certain key dates and you plug them in, and then you ask them to confirm and add anything else that you need to know. And then you're going in and layering on. The holidays are going to be working on the timely relevant angles that you're going to pitch, like what product from the core collection or what new product launch are you going to align with that summer pitching season, or what key ingredient is something that is really relevant during spring. Like, let's say one ingredient is roses, I don't know, something in a beauty product or skincare, and you're going to be pitching rose hips, rose oil, whatever, for spring, because it's very floral and you can sink into that a bit, and that's a timely relevant pitch. So then at least they see, oh, that's cool, they're going to be pitching like that ingredient here. So maybe we do a marketing campaign around that, like a little email campaign and a couple social media posts, or we call out that ingredient so it's all aligned. They can kind of see what you're doing too. And then have a standing monthly call with that team. That can be your monthly call. It doesn't have to be an additional, but it could be like a PR call aligned with the marketing team to discuss any upcoming launches or campaigns closer to the launch. Maybe you want to consider doing it more frequently, like bi-weekly, so that everyone is aligned and that media outreach will really sync up, coincide with what the marketing team is doing and what their objectives are. So you really stay on track, because sometimes there will be a delay in the launch and you won't know about it. And if the call's in a month because you just had one, then you won't have that insight into pausing the efforts and, all of that, that's needed to kind of pump the brakes on something. So it's important to, have that regular check-in, and as you get closer, maybe a little bit more frequently. But there's a lot of stuff that we tackle in like 20 minutes on a marketing call that like would have taken days over email to be back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And now we're just like, line item, here's the agenda. Let's talk about this. What's the status? Link out to a document. Everybody on the same team. Okay, great. Let's go. And it's settled and everybody knows they have their marching orders. They know exactly what's going on, what the other team is doing. And, so as much as I don't love calls, because I'm just like, do we need to do them? Set out an agenda, and you can have it be a running document that is part of the calendar invite. So everybody we use a grid. So we'll use like a Google Sheet, and we'll give them a place to write their questions or concerns. Sometimes we'll ask questions in it, and they'll link out to something specifically in that agenda. So we have access to it even before the call because they saw the question and they gave us the resource we asked for. Then it's all in one place. But having that agenda guides the conversation, and usually you can bang them out in 20 minutes. And then it's just easy because you've also tackled any concerns that the marketing team may have about what you're actually doing, what your timeline looks like, and any kind of like brewing concerns about that aligning with what they're doing. You can nip it in the bud because you're having a conversation and you're reassuring them, oh yeah, we're on track. We have everything we need. We've already started our media list building and our launch pitch, and we're going to send it out on this day because we expect to get the most opens, and it gives us enough timeline for follow-up in advance, really letting them know like there's some strategy behind what we're doing here. It's not just like spray and pray, right? So because you are all pitching powerhouses, and did you know I also have a podcast called Pitching Powerhouse? And if you like podcasts, go find me on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere that there's podcasts. And it would be amazing if you are so inclined, if you listen to an episode and you like it, leave a heart, or not a heart, a star, leave a review, leave a, whatever. So pitching powerhouse. So that's what we're trying to turn you into, is a pitching powerhouse. And when you have the support of a marketing team, you have the resources to be really awesome at your job. And so now let's just kind of touch on who is responsible for what when it comes to PR and marketing. And this is not the be all end all. This is a framework that you can use to guide your approach. They may take other responsibilities, or they may let you know that you need to take the lead on certain things that maybe are traditionally their roles. But typically, and I hope your clients have this when you start working with them, and you need to ask them, the client's marketing team is the one that comes up with all of the things that you're going to leverage. So brand positioning, a tagline, who is their ideal avatar, their ideal customer avatar, or ICA, you maybe have heard of, any kind of copy on the brand. Some of our clients have things that they can't say. They need to tell us that. You can't say X. You can't make this claim. The way around it is we say this, and that is legally acceptable, but we need to know that. What can we say? What can't we say? So that's the marketing team. And I have like this fuzzy, crazy fuzzy sweater that's fuzzing in my mouth. The marketing team should be helping to deliver those things and get them to you. They have them somewhere, about us copy, brand positioning copy, even boilerplate language that you would use in a press release, founder stories, taglines, all of that, and they should be able to deliver that to you. And when a company doesn't have all of that, it's going to make your job really hard. So it's actually really helpful when there is a marketing team supporting you, because you are going to get the support internally, the resources you need, and the assets all gathered or created based on what you're asking them for, because they're invested in your success and they can use the full force of that marketing team to support your efforts. So in order to really work well together, use those meetings, utilize the meetings to get on the same page, get a Google Drive or a Dropbox that's a shared folder or files that will make everything more convenient. They can drop lifestyle photos, they can drop product images. We actually have inside the agency Accelerator part of our onboarding process, which is part of the service pillar, strategy, sales, service, scale. Part of the service pillar is seamlessly onboarding your clients. So we have a little video that just kind of shows how you can set up a Google Drive and have different files where you can send it to the client and then tell them what to put in what files. And then everyone has access to it and it's perfectly organized. It's so simple to do, but it just kicks off in a way where everybody feels really buttoned up and you all are working off the same assets in the same place. So if something changes, it's already there. If they update something in that drive, then you have it too. So you can set that up to make everything more convenient. You obviously are going to have a shared calendar. And if something changes there, somebody can call it to your attention and you can go in and adjust your dates accordingly. So that's where you're going to get all of those pieces synced up so everybody's on the same page. And then in terms of communicating your efforts to them or with them, let them know what activities you're working on. Like, what are your pitch angles? What assets are you leveraging right now? What timely seasonal angles? So it's not always about product launches. It's about leveraging the company's story, their core collection, if it's something with ingredients, like certain key ingredients, something that's like holiday specific, leveraging all of that so that you always have, and you should always have, creative ways to pitch the brand, timely, relevant, targeted angles. And you can let them know what you're working on. And maybe they'll say, oh, that's really clever. Actually, this product aligns really well with that because of XYZ. And now they're giving you information you didn't even have that will make that effort better. So it's always helpful to make sure the marketing team knows, what activities you're working on and what angles you're pitching. And then give the marketing team any of your key PR dates for things like press releases. Very rarely are we doing press releases now, but if we are, there has to be something newsworthy. And then give them kind of the timeline of when those are going to hit. Any upcoming features so they can kind of plan, this is coming out. We want to promote that on our social. We want to inform our newsletter about it. It would be really helpful if we drove an audience to that article when it hits, because they'll track all that and see like, oh, we got a ton of people coming from this brand's, their own audience. Like, let's feature them all the time because they're going to drive traffic. This is pretty cool. But you want everything to align, and you want to ensure that there is marketing support to maximize, leverage, make the most of any of that traffic and attention that you're generating through your PR efforts. So that's how we approach working with an internal marketing team. We make them our besties. We make them see that we are there to make them look good. Anytime anything happens that involves any kind of support from marketing whatsoever, I'm the first one to share that win and point to the marketing team for making it happen. To say, we never would have landed this press feature if it weren't for the marketing team giving us what we needed in a timely manner to align with the launch, and they nailed it. And look at the result of that. We want them to love us. It's really hard to fire somebody you really like and you like their contract. So, you want to continue their contract, you like their team. So we try to endear ourselves, genuinely, but making sure that they know we've got your back and we're here to make your job better. So that's how we play nice and work with the marketing team. Does anybody have any other questions? I have this cool insider secrets download. It's kind of shocking to me. We've had this one for a little while and not a lot of people have grabbed it. And I don't know why. I think it's really good. And here's why. We tapped our community and said, what do you want to know from successful agency owners and publicists who are actually converting pitches and getting traction with top tier media? If you could ask them anything, what would you want to know? And we took those questions and we gave them to some of our most profitable, successful members of our community, and they weighed in on it. And it's really good. There's a lot of insight in there. It's fun to kind of see your fellow PR professionals and kind of learn from them. But shockingly, this is like the lowest one of all of our free resources. So I don't know why people aren't downloading it. It's very, very good. Grab it while you can. It's called PR Insider Secrets, and it's juicy because they're secrets and they're telling all. So that's what I have for you today. I'll stick on for one more minute. If anyone has a question, let me know, who's here, how I can help you. What I will say, I am not here to sell you. Oh, good. Okay, great, Stephanie. My goal here is not to sell you into our programs. My goal is to let you know that they're there for you if you think that they can help you. But if you are still getting value out of this free community and you're not ready to invest or you can't afford it, whatever, that's totally fine. Because I will show up every week and give you free value. And if I go on vacation, I'll show up a day early. But coming off of this call we just had for the Pitch Lab, right before I jumped on live, if you get into the program for a month just to check it out, it's $97. Okay. The call alone was so valuable for me, for I think the members who took the time to ask the questions that they're struggling with. The community, the collaboration was so awesome. And I feel like we witnessed some kind of breakthroughs, some major breakthroughs for people. And I will say that is something that, even if you're like, I'm a PR expert, like we have Nelson in there, you guys. Nelson doesn't need coaching on pitching the media. He's not there for the content, he's there for the community. And he's sharing his expertise. It's like we have these amazing, like almost coaches inside of our programs. And it's like, even that piece where the community gets what you're trying to accomplish, they get what you're struggling with, they can offer some fresh perspective where you don't have that perspective on what you're working on because you're in it. You need to like take a step back and, yeah, Nelson, Nelson shows up, he's always there, he's always sharing, he's cheerleading people to see their worth so that they ask for the rates that they deserve and have that confidence when they're stepping into those negotiations. Those are like, yeah, and I love it too. It's rare to kind of find that, but this community has that. And of all of our paid things, there is something about the Pitch Lab. And she's there too. I appreciate this community more than I can express, Alicia says. There is something, okay, so the Pitch Lab, I think is exceptional. I learn something every single month. I have people help put the resources together. We have experts come in and share. It is a freaking kick-ass program. But even just the coaching piece, like the monthly call alone is worth the price of admission. The monthly execution plans are worth the price of admission. So just coming off of that call, I can tell you 1,000,000% that $97 a month is worth it. But even if you come in for 1 month and you leave and you get in and you hate it or you want your money back, fine. I have no problem with that. Check it out. And we made this the most no-brainer, value-packed offering. And my husband is part of that. He is like, do not raise the fee on this thing because you need the people who really aren't there yet that could actually afford more to be able to access this. Okay. So, oh my God. Ari, am I saying that right? Is it Ori or Ari? Ari or Aura, like Orari, Ori. Tell me. She says, when you start a PR company without any experience, what are the 5 basic steps you need to follow? Um, so basically, you're asking me about me because that's what I did. So I was an attorney. I don't know if you know my story because you're sort of new. I haven't seen you on many of our things, but there are so many. Um, First of all, so many places that I have shared this. I might try to point you in a direction, maybe even to my podcast, to like the first episode. I think I did some sort of like, who am I? But what I did, and this is also how we teach inside. I know, I know. This is how we teach the agency accelerator and the pitch lab. So, um, I honed my skills as an expert. First, I worked for free while I was still practicing law. When I got a little bit of traction, I started to look into how I could actually have a business that would use these skills. What could I charge? Where do I find clients? I started to look into that, but none of this existed when I started. If you want to start a PR firm and you have no experience in PR, number one, you need to get into the pitch lab. And the reason I'm telling you this, it's not like I'm like, oh, well, just buy my stuff. It's because it was created for that very purpose. There is core training on how you provide PR services to clients for pay, as a service. And there are ideas every month and the monthly execution plans. There's master classes and there's coaching. So it's like, if you want to be a PR professional, pitching powerhouse, then the Pitch Lab is a cost effective way to learn. And after 2 months, you have access to the entire roadmap, which is your step by step approach for how to do PR. And you'll start to need to put that into practice by having a client. You can start to work for free, or you can reach out to any low hanging fruit type opportunities in your network and offer your services below market for a very limited time. And when you're ready to grow, when you're ready to launch and grow and then scale a profitable agency, and I say profitable because I don't care how much revenue you're bringing in, after your expenses, you better have major profit. That if you're going to go to the effort to build a business, it better be profitable. That's the agency accelerator. It is a model, a framework that I've created based on my experience and now the experience of hundreds of people who've gone through it, how you grow and scale a profitable PR agency, even if you have no experience, because I certainly did not. And we now, I read about you. You have a lot of courage and determination. My family may say that I'm very like pig-headed. I don't know. But thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, that's how I did it. And now that I know that that approach works, as a framework for like, do this, then this, and plug it in. Da, 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 da. Here's how you find clients. Here's how you onboard them. It follows a framework of strategy and then being awesome at sales and having a few key things in sales that we go over. Not a few, but a lot. Even red flags, what nightmare clients to avoid. And then the service pillar, it's really about maintaining your client relationships, building a solid foundation of clients so you have consistent, predictable, recurring retainer revenue as a solid foundation. And then, bring clients come and go, but it's not catastrophic because you have clients still there. And then once you have that momentum and you have results, you leverage them to build your business. So I could sit here and kind of tell you first do this, then do that. But literally, if you want to be successful and you don't want to waste time, join the Pitch Lab. And after 2 months, you have the skill, you have access to a framework for those skills. And then you need to start putting it into practice, gain that momentum. And then when it's time to actually build a business around it, that's the agency accelerator. And if you can't afford that yet, we have a little mini program called Lead to Landed. I'll help you get your first 5 clients. I have an approach for you to do that. Lead to Landed. I think it's like under $100, and it's good. People get clients from that program. And the pitch lab's 97 a month with no commitment. So that's what I would do, honestly. And I'm not being like, buy my stuff, but it really is exceptionally comprehensive and really good current philosophies on what's working now. Lead to landed is great. Yeah. And it's inexpensive. Lead to landed was a great starting point for me. See, I speak the truth. What we're looking at is who is our audience and where are they in their journey. You've got Nelson, who's in our community, who like doesn't need help in the basics, but he's probably been running his business kind of on his own, for 30 years and loves to have a community. This is a person who's open and sharing and giving, and he's getting community from this. Okay. There are other people who can't even afford a tiny little thing, because they don't have their very first client. So if you can muster up, I don't even know what it is. It may be $47, it might be $97. I don't know. It's worth it because when you land your first client, you more than pay for it. And now you have an approach, right? Stephanie and Alicia, like you have an approach, you have a framework that works. You have marching orders, and if you're the person who needs to have, like a plan, even though it's you working for yourself, this will give you like a step-by-step. I am probably not going to remember to send you anything, but I'm going to say, reach out to Miranda. That's Miranda. I just dropped her email there. It helped me be more confident approaching potential clients and also pitching. You know what, Whitney, you're so smart. Let me just pull it up and pin it. Well, you know what? I'm going to first pin our whole product suite, just so you can kind of see. It's literally like it's a Candyland style like roadmap for how you navigate our programs. So here's everything, and it kind of shows you like where you are, and you'll see like you start here, become a pitching powerhouse in the pitch lab, narrow your niche in Lead to Landed and the Agency Accelerator, build a pipeline of dream clients in Lead to Landed, grow and scale your profitable PR agency in the Agency Accelerator, and now leverage your success and scale to 7 figures, Agency Accelerator. Okay. And then you scroll down and you see our various programs. Here is Lead to Landed. I have not looked in this in a million years. Oh, look at that. There's like a little sales page. How cute. Okay. I want to go from Lead to Landed. And how much is it? I have no idea. I think it's inexpensive. $47. Oh my God, you guys, $47. Like, I promise you. Okay, Alicia's saying Jen and other community members, Natasha, Nelson, etc., have provided such great information, things I knew and things I didn't know I needed to have great calls with current and potential clients. And speaking of potential clients, I have a really big call in 13 minutes. So wish me luck, and I'll report back and let you know how it goes. But Alicia, I love hearing this. Sometimes I'll hear things from community members. Maybe I already knew it, but it's like, oh yeah, like I should be thinking about that. Or, oh, I forgot to do that. That should be on my radar again. And even just the collaboration from others, thank you, from others telling you, here's how I'm doing it. And you're like, cool, me too. That's what I would say too. Okay, I'm on my game. That's confidence building. I mean, look at what Alicia said. Great information. And then with Lead to Landed, oh, it was Stephanie saying confident approaching potential clients and also pitching. So just having a framework or an approach that is proven will give you that confidence, and it makes you feel a lot more empowered. And then that confidence comes through when you're talking to prospective clients. So that's what we're here for. Glad to be of help, Nelson. Always here to be of help. So that's what I have for you today. Usually when it comes to working with marketing teams, they are, we're their champions and they're there to support us because everybody benefits. But sometimes you get these teams that are just not super like collaborative. They're very territorial, and you can win them over. You can chip away in the friendliest way, show them that you are there to make them look good. You're not taking anything away from them. You're giving credit. Any win you have is thanks to them. Just, and they'll be like, okay, like they're playing nice, I like them. They make me feel okay. Like it's an insecurity thing. So they think you're gonna come in and then they're gonna like lose their job. So you're there to make them look good. And eventually you'll win them over. And then just have inside jokes and talk about reality TV. Like find the thing. There's something that will like get them to loosen up, you know, something like, but while you're exploring what that thing is, it can get a little awkward. But every now and then you'll bring something up and they'll light up, and then you're like, that's it. They watched The Bachelor. Boom. And I don't even watch The Bachelor, but I would start if it meant that I was getting in tight with a marketing team at one of my key clients. And then we had something to talk about. So, find that common thread personally that lights them up. Check their Instagram. Like, are they traveling? Did they go somewhere that you've been? Like, find something to talk about with them so they feel like you're on the same team. Okay, that's what I have. Getting ready to finish my bowl of cereal and have my call. I'm out of town. You guys know that's why I jumped on live today. I'm out of town 5:30 a.m. tomorrow until Sunday morning. I get so sad to leave my family, but I get a little getaway at this beautiful lakeside retreat in Bend, Oregon. And all I had to do was pay for my plane ticket. I couldn't say no to that. So hopefully I'll come back and be very like zen um, and ready to rock. So have a great rest of your week. Thank you all so much for being here on an off day, and grab those resources, and please consider, thank you so much. Please consider the Lead to Landed if you're just in that phase of getting started, because I promise you there is a solid approach for you to start grabbing, clients in your niches and having a plan to confidently secure them for business. Okay. Be well. I'll see you guys soon.